All right, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today morning. We have a very interesting panel session today with the NBA and Emergent. So just set some context for what we are going to be discussing. I'm talking about back in the 90s, 2000s. I was a kid growing up in school in India, and we didn't have any basketball infrastructure in India back in the day. But what I certainly remember is being up at like 3 a.m. in the night, 4 a.m. in the night, watching a Western Conference final between the Lakers and some other team. And I think that was possible because for decades, the NBA has been extremely successful at exporting the culture of basketball globally. And I think they were a case study in terms of how a sport has been able to do that, a sport that is foreign to so many other countries, and that was not brought in by wherever the English went and took their sports to. However, over the last 3 years, last 4 years, the NBA League Pass has been phenomenal in the way in which it's gone and really monetized the value of that cultural export, starting with the NBA League Pass app. So that's what we'll be talking about today. We'll be talking about the League Pass app. Today we have with us Ken DeGennaro. He's the Executive VP for Media and Operations at the NBA. We're also joined by Vijay Sajja from Evergent, who's the founder and CEO. And I know Evergent and the NBA have a long relationship for the last several years now. And they recently also announced a partnership, an extension of that partnership via a strategic investment that the NBA did with the Evergent. So to kick us off, Ken, what would you like to share about the investment that you did with Evergent?
Good morning. Thank you. So, we at the NBA, we actually had developed, it's via our NBA investments vehicle. It's called the Preferred Vendor Program, and it allows us to have shared success with some of our partners who are really critical to our business and critical to the growth of the league in strategic areas. Obviously, many of you have seen what we've been doing in our D2C platform and our D2C platform space. So as we look to find the vendors who are going to help us be successful, and we want to find that shared success across that as a partnership more than a vendor customer relationship. It helps us build trust. It helps us build brands. It helps us co-innovate for the benefit of not only us, but as well as our partners, other lines of business. So we've been extremely successful in the partnership so far. And we really felt as though the commercial partnership that we have and the investment that we have helps drive that relationship even further.
Thank you, Ken. And we are super proud of having NBA as an investor in Evergent. And, this happened after 3 years of working together, partnering together. Our teams work together as one team. And so when NBA approached us about this program, it was a no-brainer for us, right? So first and foremost, we have huge respect for NBA, the way they run the platform and the team, the way they take care of their whole ecosystem, and the way they partner with companies like us in terms of creating value for the whole ecosystem. So it was a no-brainer, and we are very happy with having NBA on our cap table. We look forward to the next years in the journey.
All right. Thank you so much, Ken and Vijay. Before the next question, a little bit of context about Evergent. So the Evergent works with the NBA as its subscription management and monetization platform. The goal with the technology that Evergent has built is to help our customers, Evergent's customers and clients, reach the right subscribers with the right price point at the right with the right payment methods, and make sure that they're able to access the content that they need, the products that they need, and really give the end users, the subscribers, the choice that our clients can facilitate. So with that, Ken, I know the NBA and the work that we've done together, we've had the privilege of doing together. There's a lot to talk about. What would be some of the highlights and key achievements along this journey over the last 3 to 4 years?
So being a global platform, we operate in roughly 200 countries around the world. Not only for the NBA, but this year we're onboarding our WNBA platform as well onto our shared platform. So if you could imagine the complexity and the matrix of regional price points, different subscription tiers, different platform payment gateways and storefronts, and what that looks like on currency exchanges, support for anti-piracy, and sort of ways to prevent sort of cross-border purchasing and things like that for cost avoidance. All of those things are things that Avergent brings us as part of the platform. Hundreds of thousands of different SKUs across each individual game, across each individual platform, making sure that we are not only identifying but serving all of those different opportunities to our customers based on, again, their region, their device, their preferences that they've told us both implicitly and then explicitly, and then the implicit things that we've seen about the life cycle that we've known about them. It might be the first touch point on them. There's one way we're going to try and onboard that customer. It might be someone who's engaged with us for a long time that we've been tracking and managing with data coming in that will provide a different opportunity to be able to onboard them. It might be someone we've had a commercial relationship with a customer for a while, and we're looking at ways to retain them. We've identified using artificial intelligence, we'll jump into this a little bit, but that they might be someone susceptible to churn. How do we activate and how do we participate in the relationship with them in real time, right? Regardless of all of those different factors in that deep matrix to make sure that we are targeting that user for optimal retention into our platform.
Thanks a lot for sharing that, Ken. Vijay, over to you. As a technology provider, from the vantage point of Evergent, what would you like to share as some of the complexities as well as technical challenges when it comes to serving live sports, both in terms of the scalability and the infrastructure readiness it requires, as well as from the flexibility you need, because in live sports, unlike other traditional streaming, you have off seasons. So what would you like to share about that?
Yeah, I think I'll first talk about live sports. Now Ken pointed out the complexity of serving 200 markets across the world, and each market having different characteristics and strategies. How you acquire subscribers, how you retain subscribers, different payment methods. What's the right payment method? That in itself requires a lot of platform flexibility. That's where we take a lot of pride in. We've been doing this same type of work for the last 18 years. We onboarded over 1 billion users on behalf of our customers. So many of our customers, when they deploy a service, it's global service, right? So it is very new, right? A lot of sports leagues and teams, they distribute their content through cable networks in the past, and now they have the opportunity to go direct to consumer, and that's enabling them to go global, right? So it's that's creating the need for flexibility, need for solving this multi-regional problems. In terms of scalability, live sports is different. It's a digital stadium. There's no limit to the number of seats. In a physical stadium, you can say, okay, 50,000 seats, and they buy 50,000 tickets, and you're checking if they have the ticket, right? So, digital stadium plus that too, it's a global stadium, right? So, number of people that come in, the platform needs to, for example, if there are 1 million people come in 3 minutes, right? So you got to check to make sure they have the first of all, login credentials need to be checked, and then do they have the ticket to watch the game? You have to check that. Then you let them in. If they don't have either of those, then you have to present them here's the payment method. You have to pay for this, and so a lot of that. We work together to make sure that some nights, when there are 14 live games are played, we work together as one team, make sure that the experience is seamless for the end user, right? On top of that, really personalization, which is Ken touched on, based on what we know about the user, can you provide an experience that the user would enjoy? For example, if they have a favorite team, favorite player, personalizing the posters they see and whatnot. So again, this is NBA does a great job on that front, creating that unique experiences. There's I think one more thing you asked.
I was also interested in kind of handling the dynamic that live sports comes with factors such as off seasons.
Oh, yeah. Seasonality. Seasonality is, uh, uh, you know, so what do you do with off season, right? So, how do you make it interesting for the consumer? More importantly, how do you retain the consumer, right? So, we all know that once they leave, to bring them back again, you have to incur customer acquisition costs. This is where we both work together, innovated, things like churn deflection when they want to leave, figuring out creative ways to keep them in the fold, right? Could be a discount during the off season, or could be even pause and resume subscriptions. A lot of the flexibility on how we manage the consumer, right? So you kind of have to dance with the consumer, right? So it's based on their preferences, their likes and dislikes, and make sure whatever they're doing, it's working for them, right? So that's what makes these services succeed. And it's a dynamic process. We kind of have to, based on what we learn from the market, we have to change our approach. And so again, the both teams work together as one team and figure it out. And so very excited what we've been doing. Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Vijay. And 100% agree. I think the dynamic nature of the sport and the media and being able to support that is extremely important. Ken, over to you. So I know not this Monday, but most likely next Monday you'll be back at work and you'll have a meeting with the board and they'll be interested in some numbers. So what are those metrics that you're tracking on a weekly, monthly basis? How are they informing your strategy? Would you like to share about that?
Thank you. So it all rolls up to subscriber and subscriber growth, right? How we're retaining our current set of subscribers, but continuing to push and create new opportunities, no new offers, to drive that number. So we've just started our playoffs this weekend, right? We have a whole new set of packages that we make available globally to be able to bring people into this premium part of the season, right? And sort of have certain packages that get you all the way through the NBA finals. So that's what we look at sort of as the top line metric. And then there's all the other information that helps inform us to be able to drive to that number. Again, it is the customer behavior, what they're doing, what they are not doing. Absence of data is data, right? How we're analyzing that, all of our re-engagement processes and campaigns, the churn deflection campaigns, the win back campaigns, right? And there's no one size fits all to all of those types of things. There's also, one of the complexities I don't think we've touched on are all of the regulatory issues as well, region by region by region, and how you can engage with a customer in a commercial sense, right? To making sure that we're adhering to all of those different services, right? Here in the US, there's state by state regulations, but globally, it is just a map of different things that we have to manage and track. There's also the other side of it. So when we talk about metrics, when we talk about services, I have operations in my title. One of the catchphrases we have at the MBA is performance is a feature of the platform, making sure that we are ensuring that we have a highly available, highly scalable, highly performant service for our customers to be able to engage with, right? We can have every bell and whistle in the world. If the platform is not up and available and streaming high quality content for our consumers, if it's not offering them the ability to conduct that transaction at that particular moment, we're not going to retain those customers for very long. So one of the other sets of data, a little bit less sexy, but equally, if not more important, is all the telemetry, all of the observability data that we work closely with Emergent and our own platform services to bring together to ensure that all things are available. And then, again, we'll touch on this a little bit, but how AI plays into that, right? How we're using agentic DevOps agents to help us improve the speed, shorten the search string to be able to identify where the issue is, and then I eventually be able to have that be self-healing and self-correcting.
All right. Thanks for that, Ken. I think very good timing. If you not have said AI by the 15-minute mark, I think half the people would have walked out. So good that we got that done. But Vijay, tell us a little bit about, Ken spoke about, the critical nature of the service being delivered and the infrastructure availability, performance that is required to support it. How is Emergent approaching this?
Yeah, I think performance Ken kind of touched on. For any digital service, uptime is very important. You have to be up all the time, 24/7. 365 days a year, 7 days a week. And sports fans are passionate, right? And meaning that they love their sport. You don't want to get in between the sports fan and them being able to watch the game, right? They'll be very upset, right? So more upset than a Netflix viewer, I would say, right? You would all agree with me on that. So it's the performance is very important, which means that not just the enterprise grade, right? You have to be carrier grade, or 4 nines are better in terms of availability, and also that too globally, right? So there's a lot more complexity. We do our part, but there's more to supporting this globally and making sure it's available, the CDNs and all that. So it's a lot goes in the background to make sure that it's working well on a planet scale, 24/7, 364 days a year. So what we are doing is that we make sure that the part we do, the entitlement check and making sure that they're subscribing for new subscriptions, all of them go very well. And we also use AI to make sure that there are no anomalies, right? So you have signals before something actually goes wrong. You have early detection of signals and anomalies. So we have a knock, and we're also deploying agentic AI at various business processes, right? So and we're using all of those tools to make sure that and then teams communicate back and forth, right? So 24/7 monitoring. We have a knock that humans are actually looking at the alarms that's coming up, and then the teams work together. Right? So using AI and the people and the team and processes, upgrading the processes, and also the components, making sure the components themselves are responding quickly in a robust way, right? Yeah.
All right. Vijay, I know Evergent also works with clients that do cricket. Do you want to talk about, because I know cricket is also very high volume. You want to speak
Yeah,
about
yeah.
that?
No, that's a good. Thank you, Sahil, for reminding me. So recently, cricket is for those of you who don't know, it's big in India, England, Australia, Pakistan, Bangladesh. There's a lot of those countries they play cricket. India, as you know, it's a small country with 1.4 billion people, and so recently there was a Asia Cricket Cup, and then the Sony was our customer, and their best case scenario and worst case scenario is the same. India and Pakistan going to finals, right? There will be a lot of viewers that would come and watch, and so we work together to prepare for it, right? So we tested the combined platform to support 27 million API requests per minute, right? So and then it so happened that India Pakistan played 3 matches, including the final, right? So it was their best case came true in this case, and everything worked flawlessly. So we had over 10 million concurrent streams, and so again, a lot of what we do with sports customers across the globe, we bring that benefit to NBA, and there are lots of innovation that NBA is doing that that we take it to other customers, right? So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of hard work, and a lot goes into building these planet scale platforms. But yeah, no, thank you. Perfect.
And that ties back to the partnership conversation we had to start the panel, right? Like they're doing a lot, not only for us, but for other customers. And those improvements inure back to us on our platform, right? We are a basketball league. We want to focus on basketball content, statistics, video, storytelling, right? The scalability of our billing, subscription, and commerce management platform. We want to outsource that to an organization that we trust, so we can partner with, right? Those are not things that we want to focus on. We want to have that, I'll use the word trust again, trust of our partner to be able to deliver it. We mentioned that we're in the playoffs. Every single night of the playoffs, we have people from the Emergent NOC on our bridge helping us support just in case we see particular issues, right? And There have not been to start the playoffs. Sorry, DevOps team. But there have not been, but they are there and available and are part of our ecosystem, so that they are frontline and available where they're an issue, and to be able to react in real time.
Perfect. Thanks for sharing that, Ken. Let's switch over to talking more specifically about AI and generative AI. There's obviously a lot going on. Love to hear from you. What are the near term, short term use cases that you're most excited about in the next 12 to 24 months? Vijay.
Yeah, AI is on everybody's mind, right? Including ours and everybody here. And we believe it's fundamentally is going to change many aspects of what we do. Many aspects of many industries, right? So, our view is that for AI to work well, first of all, you need a lot of data. Okay. The second one is context is important, and the deep domain expertise is important, right? So, and then trust and explainability are also very important, right? So, and in the case of Evergent, we onboarded over 1 billion users since the inception of the company. So there's a lot of transactional data we have in our database that will benefit all of our customers, right? So we have the data. We track 70 different events in the subscriber lifecycle, right? You can imagine at each of those events, you can actually predict something you can do in terms of providing value to the subscriber, providing value to the platform, collecting data, etc. Plus, we have the context, right? And we know our customers' business. This is we are specialized in streaming media, sports leagues, and teams across the globe, right? So we have the deep domain expertise. Plus, we have deployed this at scale for our customers, right? So and so what we are doing, that we are uniquely positioned to create value working with our customers in terms of the subscriber life cycle. And it can kind of touch on what's important, the acquisition, right? So top line is important, right? So using AI, even if you convert 2-3 percentage points on the acquisition side, what's the right product to offer to this customer that's coming in Singapore? What's the right product to offer to this customer coming in Tokyo, right? And what's in some markets, we have multiple payment methods. There are 10 different ways to pay. Now, it's always confusing to the user if you give 10 choices, right? So it's actually research has shown if you give one, it's your likelihood of converting is higher than giving 10 choices, right? So if you predict the right payment method, right product, the conversion rate would improve. Similarly, on the churn side, so if you're tracking the subscriber life cycle and all the behavior, what the platform, NBA platform is seeing, combining both what the data we have and the NBA has, preventing churn. Those are the two examples, right? So it's really the data, context, domain expertise, really understanding the consumer and tracking the consumer end to end, predicting what's the right action to do to retain the subscriber, to make sure that they have the right experience as they are using the platform, right? So, I think it's a great opportunity for not only as for all of us in the industry to use AI to benefit the end user, to give them that flexibility and choice, and thereby adding more users, expand the value footprint, and increasing top line.
All right. Thanks, Vijay. Ken, quick 2 minutes on what you're most excited about for AI.
So for us as the content rights holder, what it's going to allow us to do to create more sophisticated versions of that content, right? One of the most low-hanging fruits right now is using AI for automated localization and transcription, localized highlight packages, different alternate versions of the content, making sure that we're tailoring the content and content packages to a particular cohort of fans, right? For some of us, the European market is 50% of it is offline viewing and sort of time shifted viewing, how we were preparing the right sets of packages for each individual fan to be able to get that information when they are waking up in their time zone in the morning, right? Making sure all of that is available. And then tying back to all the things Vijay was just sharing is how are we properly monetizing, right? Because AI is there's going to be overhead to be able to create that content. How are we monetizing that and ensuring that we are properly sizing that from a package perspective, retaining customers. We spoke about top line subscribers, right? Making sure we go about that and really, and perhaps even using that content that we're able to use AI to pull segments of that content out as part of the e-commerce package, right? We know that they're a particular fan of this particular player and they like slam dunks, right? Why don't we make sure that that's the content we're using in real time from perhaps even a game that happened 5 minutes ago and making that part of sort of the churn deflection process, right? So bringing all of those things together, but really using AI to inspect, interrogate, help us make new content packages, but also use that throughout our ecosystem, throughout the e-commerce flow.
Got it. Thanks, Ken. I think moving on to the last set of questions, Ken, what advice do you have to share with, other sports leagues, teams, broadcasters, any type of content or rights holder on how they should be approaching direct to consumer?
Find good partners, right? You want to focus on the content, find wonderful partners to help you build out your D2C infrastructure and platform, right? We're the league. We don't want to build a billing and subscription management platform there. That is not our expertise. We want to focus on game content. We want to focus on storytelling. We want to make sure we find the right partners that we can hold accountable to have 4 or 5 nines of availability. So because it is our brand on the front end, right on the glass that the consumer works with, but behind the scenes, we need to have that partnership and reliance on that group of sort of the best in class ecosystem of providers to be able to help you get there.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Ken. Vijay, what advice do you have for technology buyers? How should they be thinking about monetization and subscriber management?
Yeah. One thing is comes to my mind is really planning for success, right? And we often see that people don't plan for success. So they hit a certain size, and they realize that the flexibility they need to continue to grow, right? So let's say they started in one country. Now they see the opportunity to deploy globally or deploy in 10 other countries, right? But do you have the systems in place to deal with the different regulatory constraints in different environments, and then being able to offer different packages and promotions in different countries? So coming up with the different packages, different currencies, different payment methods, being able to work with different payment gateways across the globe. And that becomes a big stumbling block, and then if you don't plan for that in the beginning, now you are reacting to it and everything becomes suboptimal, the way you do things, more expensive. And the second aspect of planning for success is scale, right? This is also something we see. Scale is sheer numbers, right? So numbers meaning that do you have the platforms in place that work for 500,000 subscribers maybe well, but when you grow to 5 million subscribers or 10 million subscribers, and it's then your customer, you don't have a scalable components, then the customer experience becomes poor. So it's really important, echoing on what Ken said, find the right partner um, to help make sure that the systems have the flexibility to expand beyond your, if you grow beyond your wildest dreams, do you have the systems to support, right? And in terms of both flexibility and scale, right? So now the third thing is really AI, right? So does the partner have the right AI strategy? For AI to work, you need deep domain expertise. Okay, you need a lot of data to do prediction. You may have the best algorithm, but if you don't have the history and the data, it's pretty much useless, right? So that's a third one: flexibility, scale, and how AI ready you are. Right? Even in real time, if you want to offer a specific package to a specific consumer, only he gets it, nobody else gets it, right? and you want to make the decision in real time. Do you have a system to support that, right? And so typically in many systems, no, right? So these are all the things to think about. That would be my advice: is flexibility, scale, and then AI readiness.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ken and Vijay. It's been a delightful conversation and discussion. Sum it all up, I think, Ken, your advice is do what you're very good at. If you're good at content, focus on that. Focus on building innovative offers, products for the market, and then work with a reliable partner like you've been working with Emergent that gives you the flexibility to experiment, that gives you the ability to get to that global scale, handle those peak loads, and is ready for an AI future. So, thank you so much for joining us today morning. I hope you have a great rest of your time in Vegas. And Ken and Vijay are here for some more time if you have any questions. Thank you. Thank you once again.